have a story time. This is a cautionary tale. This woman that shared this with me shared this because I have a safe space and she wants to help the next woman not make the same decisions that she did. So keep that in mind as you listen and hear this story. So this happened to me when I was around 23 years old and dealing with a man who was part of the Hebrew Israelite culture. Red flags already. Just a disclaimer, I'm not against the culture itself, but more so against some of the men that practice it. So back in my early adult years, I subscribed to the whole submissive theory that men heavily pushed and believed based on biblical scriptures that every woman needs a head to be a part of her life to cover her. So I met this man on Facebook Messenger that seemed like a stand-up guy and had knowledge on biblical scriptures. We talked for a few months before I decided to head up to New York to be with him. He was in his 30s and told me he had 15 kids and 8 wives. But me wanting to be covered, I bypassed all that. Silly, I know, but in my mind, at that time, it wasn't a big deal. When I got to New York, I could feel in my spirit that I did not belong there. There were women and kids everywhere. He also would sit on the couch and drink, and he wasn't even working. Turns out one of his wives made most of the income. He also didn't agree with me eating beef, as I had asked for a burger because I drove over 5 hours to get to him, and I was hungry, but shortly afterwards he decided I was not the one for him. Mind you, I was only there for 2 days when he made that decision. He then introduced me to his brother, who only had 2 wives, and that's when things got more interesting. So when I met his brother, he seemed more compatible and he allowed me to move in with him. When I got to his house, however, I noticed wife number 1 had a bed in the living room in the corner. I also noticed that wife number 2 was recently involved in a bad car accident and one of her arms was missing. So she wasn't able to really do any housework. So it was up to wife number 1 to cook and clean and maintain most of the house. He also told me shortly after I got there that he doesn't believe in eating chicken or soy products, which I found extreme. On one occasion, picked out a bag of cereal from the store, but the following morning, one of the wives threw it away because it had soy in it. I was furious. The final straw is when he revealed to me that the house we were living in was public housing, and he basically told me I needed to go because if I stayed, he could possibly be kicked out because I wasn't on the lease. So I had no money and had to leave. I was fortunate enough to have friends that allowed me to move in with them temporarily, but my bad judgment as a cautionary tale to not allow men to manipulate you with religion. There'll be a part 2, so we can unpack some of this. Part 2 of I moved in with the Hebrew Israelite. Let's take this opportunity to spot the red flags and not do this, ladies. Please do not meet someone on Facebook Messenger and move 5 hours away. Just let's stop this practice of moving for a man. If you are in your 20s, just hear this. I'm going to say it one more time. Actually, I might say it 3 times like Dr. Umar. Don't move for a man. Don't move for a man. Once again, don't move for a man. That's just a red flag. You're putting yourself out there and your survival is at stake. Do not move for a man. Then, when you see that someone has 8 wives and is not working, that is, is that not just pimp culture right there? Is that just not pimp culture? They have the wives working, so the man reaps the benefit. How is this different from a Don Juan? How is that different than putting women out on the stroll? Explain. The kids are just an added incentive for the women to go to work because they have to feed the kids. And then the man gets the benefits as well. Please don't do that. Please don't. That's another red flag. So that's number 2. This man is sitting on the couch. The women are out working. That's another red flag. And then control. He needs control. Controlling what these women eat. Another red flag. This short paragraph has so many red flags, and I want to make sure to hammer home that this paragraph is a red flag. Do not fall victim to this. Do not stand for this. And don't drive hours for a man. just don't go on a date with a man that requires you to go somewhere for him. Let's just squash that idea. Just smash that. Leave it over there. And then moving in with somebody is a big deal. But if you are young, maybe you're not asking these right questions, because if you can just get put out, that means that your survival is linked with making sure that they are happy with you. So if this man just puts her out, which he did, then she is just asked out, just SOL. So please take this. She sees that one wife is doing everything. What kind of life would that have been had she not gotten put out? Please take this as a cautionary tale and never, ever, 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 ever do anything like this. This is terrible. Y'all get in the comments. Tell me what you see that I might have missed. Like, comment, share.